Jonathan Bailey is People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive for 2025. The title has been awarded annually by the popular entertainment magazine for 40 years now, and has established itself as the Nobel Prize for thirst. Bailey, though, is the first publicly gay celebrity to receive this prestigious honour, and when you look at the history of Hollywood, that is actually a sort of a moment. It's not a serious award. Publicists and studio execs and entertainment journalists conspire to choose someone. There's no objective standard, there's no public vote, there's no real consistency from year to year. It's a deliberately unserious tradition. So how can it possibly matter? Well, 15 years ago, journalist Rhimes wrote a piece for Newsweek in which he suggested that out gay actors like Sean Hayes in Promises, Promises and Jonathan Groff in Glee could not convincingly play straight love interests. The piece earned condemnation from GLAAD, from Dustin Lance Black, from Ryan Murphy, and many others. Setuday, who is gay himself, was accused of internalized homophobia. Aaron Sorkin came to Setuday's defense. It was a whole thing. Setuday's assertion was that audiences would not accept openly gay actors in straight roles. But I think what he was really acknowledging is that the industry believed that audiences would not accept openly gay actors in straight roles. As a voice of the industry, Setuday was articulating Hollywood's own prejudgment. Hollywood may lean liberal at the ballot box, but it's a very conservative taste maker, and the industry did not trust audiences enough to test what they might accept. Hollywood's paranoid conservatism is a tradition as old as the talkies. In Hollywood's golden age, staged dates and lavender marriages where queer men were set up with beautiful women were PR strategies for quashing rumors about an actor's sexuality. Rock Hudson married his agent's secretary, Phyllis, in 1955. Tab Hunter was publicly linked to Natalie Wood and Debbie Reynolds. Actor Billy Haynes was kind of the only standout of the era. MGM's Louis B. Mayer tried to pressure him into a lavender marriage to quash a scandal. Haynes refused and was fired. He went on to set up a very successful interior design business with his partner Jimmy Shields in Hollywood, and the couple remained together until Haynes' death. They were together for almost 50 years. It's a beautiful love story, honestly. But I think we have a tendency to project any progress experienced in our lifetime backwards into the past and to assume things were maybe rosier than they were. People you might now think were fairly open about their sexuality really weren't. Paul Lynde never came out in his lifetime, neither did Freddie Mercury. Siegfried and Roy remained closeted until 2007. Liberace sued the Daily Mirror for suggesting that he was gay, and spoiler, he was. Right up into the 2000s, queer actors were expected to stay closeted. Luke Evans had been open about his sexuality when performing on the London stage in the 2000s. In the 2010s, he went to Hollywood and stopped talking about being gay and started being photographed with a marketing exec named Holly Goodchild. Not a Bond woman. Sounds very close to one. Assuredly not. Around the same time, the management team for Arrow actor Colton Haynes tried to shut down rumors that he was gay. Industry pressure to stay closeted had an awful impact on his mental health. The message was that you could be closeted and a leading man, or you could be out and maybe be a character actor. Haynes, thankfully, eventually came out in 2016. Prison Break star Wentworth Miller is another great example. He denied that he was gay in an interview in 2007, but then came out in 2013 in protest at Russia's anti-gay policies when he refused to travel to the country. Even Sean Hayes refused to comment on his sexuality during the original run of Will and Grace, and Pee Wee Herman only came out this year in a documentary after he died. A smattering of actors came out in the first 25 years of the People list. So the list started in 85. In 88, Ian McKellen came out. The following year, Rupert Everett came out. He was sort of the OG Jonathan Bailey. He was about 30 when he came out, but he said it hurt his career that he lost roles. He's very bitter about it, and you can understand why. In 1995, Nigel Hawthorne mentioned his partner in an interview with The Advocate and suddenly became the first out gay actor to be nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars. He hadn't intended to come out. In 1998, Alan Cumming came out as bisexual, Richard Chamberlain in 2003, Cheyenne Jackson in 2004, Neil Patrick Harris in 2006, Luke McFarlane in 2008. McFarlane is the Jonathan Bailey of the made-for-TV movie. He starred in 15 Hallmark movies since coming out, most of them playing a straight man in a romantic relationship, though in one movie he did play a gay man. Something changed in the 2000s, and it's not a mystery. Decades of advocacy made same-sex marriage a mainstream position and a lived reality, which made queer people more visible and more familiar. So marriages, civil unions, and having kids through adoption or through surrogacy compelled more celebrities to come out, just to live their lives in public and mark these milestones. Matt Bomer got married, Ben Whishaw had a civil ceremony, Ricky Martin had kids. Social media also, I think, plays a huge role because we are all telling on ourselves from an early age, and the new generation of actors are out online before they've even had a chance to take their first headshot. So in the last 15 years of this list, we've had Zachary Quinto and Coleman Domingo in 2011, Matt Bomer and Jim Parsons in 12, Wentworth Miller, Matt Dallas, Andrew Scott in 2013, Ben Whishaw in 2014, Reed Ewing in 2015, Charlie Carver and Colton Haynes in 2016, Brandon Flynn, Keenan Lonsdale in 2017, Jonathan Bailey himself, and Lee Pace in 2018, and in 2019, Connor Jessup, Juan Pablo DePache, Tyler Blackburn. 2020, we have Max Parker, Francois Arnaud, J. August Richards, Justice Smith, Rick Cosnett, and in 2021, Jack Dylan Grazer, Julian Morris, Ronan Rubenstein, and Tyler Alvarez. 2022, Kit Connor, Jared Carmichael, Nico Greetham. 2023, Alexander Lincoln, Richard Armitage, Joe Locke, Shuti Gatwa, Froy Gutierrez. And in 2024 to 2025, we're running out of people to come out of the closet because no one's in the closet anymore. No one needs to confirm that they're gay. They just are. They're joining the likes of Russell Tovey and Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who I think have never had to come out. They just always were. So Miles Heiser, Joel Kim Booster, Zane Phillips, Farah Fee, Jeremy Pope, Conrad Rickamora, James Foon, Ben Aldridge, Graham Parkhurst, Jelani Aladdin, Luke Featherston, Brandon Black, Dylan Burnside, Jake Foyd, Travis Nelson, Sachin Bhatt, Rafael Al Silva, Hunter Doohan, Devin Way, Cooper Koch, Angus O'Brien, Rohit Mollica, Jack Cameron Kay. I don't know if any of them were ever in. Something else very important happened in 2020. Shonda Rhimes flexed. Rhimes had already cast queer actors in both queer and straight roles in her various TV shows, including Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, and How to Get Away with Murder. Moving to Netflix gave Rhimes even more bandwidth, and she cast Jonathan Bailey as the eldest child of the titular family in her Regency romance series Bridgerton. As a result, an out gay man would play the romantic lead in the show's second season, and audiences, underestimated and condescended to for close to a century by the entertainment industry, had no problem at all believing that Bailey's Anthony Bridgerton was romantically and sexually attracted to Simone Ashley's Kate Sharma, because Bailey and Ashley had no problem selling it, like it was their job. Bailey's season of Bridgerton aired in 2022. The following year, he starred opposite Matt Bomer in the horny gay period drama Fellow Travellers. In 2024, he dazzled the world as the all-dancing, all-singing love interest in the first Wicked movie. 6 months later, his Jurassic World movie was less well-received, but still a huge success. And with the second Wicked movie releasing 364 days after the first one, he will end 2025 having starred in 3 of the biggest movies in a 12-month period. From trawling the comments under the People article, I have noticed 3 principal objections to Bailey's elevation to the title of Sexiest Man Alive. 1, they don't know who he is. Okay, why is your ignorance my problem? 2, they think it should be someone else, usually Pedro Pascal, a great choice, but not a better choice than a proudly out gay actor. And the third objection, well, he's gay. They don't like that. You and I agree that that is not disqualifying. But now we know that People magazine does not think it's disqualifying, even if perhaps they did think so in the past. So now we know that a gay man who found fame after coming out can be a convincing heartthrob to a female audience, whether he's playing straight, gay, or bi. And I think you and I always believed that was true. It was Hollywood that didn't. People magazine is very much an industry rag, so naming Jonathan Bailey as Sexiest Man Alive means that Hollywood may finally be shaking off some of its preconceptions. Given the state of the world, the state of politics, I am glad for any little scrap of good news. Jonathan Bailey is a sweet, talented, beautiful man who sings and dances and giggles in interviews. He is the essence of non-toxic masculinity. Of course, he is the sexiest man alive. The good news is that People magazine can see what we all can, and what we perhaps always knew from the start. This is your sexiest man alive. And it's a moment. If you enjoyed this video, you should know that I'm planning another one about the People Sexiest Man Alive series. I'm going to go through the entire list and judge them and decide who should, in fact, have been the sexiest man alive in each of the past 40 years. It's going to be sensational. So please subscribe to the channel to make sure you get that in your feed. And until that magical time, thank you for watching. Kiss, kiss. Bang, bang.
If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to this channel. You can follow Kiss Kiss Bang Bang on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd at KKBBpod, or email us at kisskissbangbangpod@gmail.com.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is recorded in Toronto on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples.